It's Sunday, it's a gorgeous day. We're going to go out this afternoon for a little bit of a dog walk. It's quite crisp and cold, and then Tommy and I are hopefully going to look at some like little breaks away and some holidays when we get back and just kind of sit on the sofa. We had a bit of a DIY day yesterday, so if any of you want to see what we put up and little bits that we moved around and stuff downstairs, then it's all on my Instagram, so all of my like social media links and stuff are in the description box below, so please go and have a look if you're at all interested. I thought today I would do a 17 for 17 because I've seen a lot of videos going up. Obviously it's the new year, I think we're still in the first week of January, it's the 7th today, and everyone's talking about goals, resolutions, things that they want to happen for 2018, and I don't know whether I'm just a little bit cynical, but I can't cope with the pressures that the words that goals and resolutions come with, if that makes sense. So I thought rather than sitting here and doing like many others have, like a beauty favourites, which I've done in the past, I've done like, you know, my top beauty products of the year. I did one year where I like did categories, so my favourite mascara, my favourite foundation. It'd be interesting to go back actually and see what they were compared to what I think it would be now. But I thought instead of doing that, I would talk through some standouts from the year, so whether that's beauty, whether it's fashion, and then actual personal experiences or things that I've been and done. So it's going to be kind of like a bit of a roundup video, and I'm also going to have posted up to date on the blog 18 things that I don't want to happen in 2018, which is a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's going to be a little bit light-hearted. I've not finished the post yet, but it's just things that obviously there are lots of things we don't want to happen, but it's just a little bit of more of a lighter take on a reflection, I guess. So I'm going to get straight into it. So I've got a little list here, and the first one is going on adventures with Tommy. So this year we have done some incredible things. We've been very, very lucky and fortunate to go and visit lots of different places. We went back to Brighton, which is one of our absolute favourite places to go to. We visited Copenhagen, we went to France for what was meant to be a few days in the sun, and it was torrential rain every single day. If you watched the vlog or follow me on Instagram, you will remember. But it's just, when we first met, he was not interested in travel whatsoever. He just didn't get it at all. I'd always been brought up with like my grandparents travelled, my mum has been to so many places, my dad has, and I'd always been brought up with that. And Tom was kind of like a complete opposite contrast. He'd hardly ever been abroad, so I just don't think it was instilled in him. Whereas now he's completely on the same page as me and he loves it, and we're a real team when we go on holiday and we go to explore different cities and stuff, and we just had some amazing experiences this year. So there's no particular order, but that's the one that came to mind first. So the second one I've popped on there, which I actually don't like the way that it looks today, but it is cutting my hair, which was kind of a big thing for me this year because I kept saying to myself that when I'd lost weight I was going to cut my hair. It was just something that I was just really bored with how it was. I'm already bored with how it is. I want to go to a middle part in and grow it to about here, I think, and kind of let the roots grow out a little bit and then make it a little bit darker and a little bit warmer, but that's going to be the next couple of appointments. But cutting it to the length that I did, so short, I loved it at the time. I loved the way that it looks when I look back on pictures and stuff, and it was just something that for me was like a massive confidence thing, and I found it really liberating. And when I looked back on this year, it was one thing that stood out for me because it was quite a big thing for me to do, and I don't think I'd have done it if I'd not lost the weight that I had and wasn't in the place that I was. So that was quite a big thing for me last year. Talking about kind of doing things that I wouldn't usually do, number 3 is going out of my comfort zone, which I feel like everyone kind of does every single year. By the way, if you've not got a brew, I feel like this is going to be a chatty video because I'm already run out of breath and we're on number 3. But I feel like everyone goes out of the comfort zone at some point, whether they realise it or not during the year. It's just inevitable. We always do things that we're not really comfortable with, that we either are glad we did them or we're not glad that we did them after they've happened. But this last year, I feel like, again, as a knock-on result to the surgery and losing weight, which I don't want to harp on too much about. Obviously, it was a major thing for me this year. It is a point on its own, we'll get to that. But I did things like clip and climb, which to some people might sound ridiculous, that is on my list of things that was like up there for me last year, but I never ever would have done that a couple of years ago, and I wasn't very good at it, and I didn't go up too many times. I think I did about 8 different walls in the end, but just putting a harness on for me was a massive thing. So yeah, and then when I went to America, I climbed up a mountain, which all the way around I was thinking about my granddad singing Climb Every Mountain to me from Sound of Music when I was going around it, and it was so scary at the time. And there were a couple of occasions where I was with my cousin and her boyfriend, and they were, you know, they're so outdoorsy and like love going on hikes and stuff, and for me it's not something that I do very often, which won't come as a surprise. And you know, some of I hate like little ledges that have like cliff drops right by them, and there were so many of those, and there were so many occasions we were walking around, I was like you know, like holding back the tears and just trying to do it, and I did it. There were a few moments like that this year which would kind of stand out for me that I was very proud I did and glad that I did them. So number 4, again, these all seem kind of interlinked, but number 4 is building up friendships. So I have never really been one to have a massive group of friends. There are people that I've had in my life in the past which I wish were still with me now. You know, people drift apart and life happens, but this year I was fortunate enough for a few people to either come back into my life or new friendships were kind of formed. And you know, just there are a few people that I can think of, and I'm not going to name names, but that I've got really, really close to, that I know are there for me as much as I hope they know that I'm there for them. And as much as that has happened, there's also been relationships that have broken down. As a family this year, we have majorly drifted apart over, you know, we lost my granddad in March, and that was a massive thing that's happened. It's a bit more of a negative, but it's made me really thankful for the people that I do have in my life and the people that make that effort and that want to stay in contact, and that even though we might not talk every day, I know that we're there for each other and we have a laugh and respect each other and love each other when we are together. So a little bit of a lighter one now. I'm going to talk about a beauty product favourite. Number 1 fragrance for me this year has been Jo Malone Mimosa and Cardamom. I will link it so that you can kind of see the description stuff online, but if you're near a Jo Malone's counter, then give this a smell. It's gorgeous. I don't think I'd wear it in the summertime. I think it's gorgeous for kind of like the winter months. It's very, very, I don't know, I just feel like it's such a grown-up scent, and it's just a gorgeous fragrance. And I have gone through this. I got this on my birthday, but I've only started really using it in August time, I think, September time, and I've used nearly the entire bottle. So I've absolutely loved this fragrance this year, and or the end of this year, I suppose, and I know it's going to be one that I keep wanting to go back to. I actually got another one for Christmas this year. So I've obviously already touched on the whole losing weight thing, and I feel like it's just something that I have to mention because it's happened. I've lost nearly 7 stone from having gastric sleeve surgery in December 2016, and it was a massive thing. It's something that I never really know how to talk about because I still feel that little bit of guilt when I talk about it because I've lost it through that method, but I know I never would have been able to do it on my own. And you've heard me say this, I probably sound like a broken record, but it was the best decision I've ever made, and I wouldn't go back on it, I wouldn't change it. And this year, seeing it drop off slowly, even if I go back to pictures from January to now, the difference, and looking at my past videos as well, the difference you can really see, and it's just, this is now my everyday, but I think it's important to go back and just remind myself of how I was, and not only that I was heavier, but the mental and the physical state that I was in as well, and how much that has changed from losing weight. So I obviously couldn't do a roundup of last year and not mention the fact that I'd lost that. So number 7 is spending more time with Charlie, who you will have noticed in vlogs from last year. We started looking after him a lot more. It was something that me and Tom really, really wanted to do and be more involved with, and thankfully for us, his mum has obviously let us and trusted us, and we've had him for sleepovers, you know, every other week, and I pick him up from school. He started school in September, and he's just the loveliest sweetest little boy, and we're so grateful to have him in our lives. He's just phenomenal, and spending time with him this past year has just been so precious and something that we'll treasure. And you know, just seeing him at the beginning of the year, he probably couldn't have counted to 10, and now he's adding up sums, and he's so clever and so bright, and that has just been a real highlight of the last year, because we love him to pieces basically. And you all seem to really enjoy him on the vlogs, which I think just goes to show how adorable he obviously is, because he's very popular with you guys. So number 8 is, I've written down new tiles, but this kind of like sums up the whole doing up the house and carrying on with making improvements and stuff. And last year, we've lived in this house now coming up for 3 years. We did a lot of work before we moved in, if you've watched the vlogs from that. And then last year or the year before last year, when we moved in, we just kind of didn't do anything. We did a little bit of painting here and there, we got carpets put in and stuff like that, but with regards to actually making big changes, we just, I don't know, I think because we'd had enough of it basically. So this year we've really made an effort, and we've put prints up, we've had the new tiles put in the hallway and the utility room, which just kind of transformed the space. We had a new floor put down in the living and the dining room, and just little bits and pieces here and there which have made a massive difference, and slowly but surely we're getting there. And last year, or the year before should I say, it was kind of a bit of a bugbear of mine that I felt like we weren't getting anywhere with it and nothing was really going anywhere. But I've learned last year that it's something that you just have to do gradually and be patient with it, and it will come with time and it'll come together. And not to rush these things, because tastes change, and you know, you see things as you go. So yeah, the house improvements have been a big one. Number 9, going to America on my own. I still can't quite believe that I did that, if I'm honest. I mean, obviously I met my cousin when I was out there, so I wasn't on my own, but traveling on my own. If I think about flying now, it still makes me feel sick. And the fact that I did that on my own, and it's not even the actual getting on a plane, being in the air, that I don't like the thought of. It's the, you know, it's the anxiety around whether, like, going through security and lifting your bag up and whether anything's going to drop off, and taking your shoes off and your coat off and walking through duty free and all of that kind of stuff, missing your flight, everything like that. And I did it, and there were times where I, you know, the check-in desk, the woman was like, "Where are you going today?" And I nearly burst out crying. And it was difficult, but I did it, and I managed it, and it's not put me off it. And that whole holiday, that whole time that I spent with my cousin was absolutely incredible, and I enjoyed it every single second. I experienced some amazing things and saw some beautiful places, and I feel very lucky to have done that this year, especially on my own. Every single day I was there, I was just like, I wish Tommy was here, I wish Tommy was here, because I obviously want him to experience the same stuff. So that was a highlight. Number 10 is going to be, now this was a bit of a toss-up between my Hourglass ambient lighting powders, which for the most part of last year I couldn't put down, or my Becca highlight in Opal, which I feel like was probably a favourite for last year as well. And I'm gonna say Becca Opal highlight, because I just haven't used anything else all year. Still going through the same mini. It's lasted me so long. When the day comes that I have to buy a full size one of this, it'll be a sad sorry day, because I've loved this little mini that I got in Sephora a couple of years ago. It's a gorgeous kind of pinky champagne highlight that I've got it on the tops of my cheeks today. I don't know if it'll pick up. I think I'm ready for a new lens or a new camera. If any of you are experienced in cameras or lenses, please will you let me know which one you should replace first, which one will do better. But it's just the one highlighter that I've gone to every single time I've done my makeup. I've used it in countless videos. I would highly recommend it. It's so finely milled, it just looks beautiful on the skin, it lasts, it's gorgeous. And although I've loved my ambient lighting palette, that is something that I'd go for more, because it's something you can see more. If you know, powder's a powder at the end of the day. Number 11, these babies, which are now looking a little bit worn. I mean, I washed them, so they've gone a little bit green, and I mean, as Converse go, they don't look too shabby, but they are going a little bit green if you look at them closely. But I have not really worn any other shoe this year, and if you've seen my vlogs, you'll know that I've been very committed to these black Converse. They go with everything. I absolutely adore them. They're so comfy. I'm such a Converse girl, and I've just loved these. I've just had them on my feet nearly every single day. I run out of the house in them, I plan outfits around them, I love them, and I got a pair of high tops for Christmas, so the black Converse trend isn't going anywhere for 2018. So I put in some TV shows that I've been loving, and the first one I'm going to mention is called, well, this is hard, you know, because I've only got 17 things, and really I'm going to put 2 in 1 here because I can't single it out. So I've written down Call the Midwife, but I'm also going to put in the same bracket The Crown. There is another show that's further down that I'll talk about. So recently there are 2 series that I've watched and absolutely have treasured every single second of every single episode, and I've been so transfixed with them. I've absolutely, it's not that I've just enjoyed them, that I've liked them, that they're good series. I have wholeheartedly adored them, and if you haven't seen either of them, please go and watch them and let me know what you think. The Crown has been just a phenomenon this year, not only because it's a good series and the acting and the casting and everything, the set is incredible and beautiful, but you learn so much that you didn't know, not only about the royal family but about Britain itself and British history, and it's just so good. It's like, it's about the royals but it's very personal, and it's the best kind of historical drama I've ever seen. And Call the Midwife just makes me feel so happy, and all the emotions in one episode, but it's just so heartwarming. And again, you learn stuff. I've learned stuff about childbirth, I've learned stuff about midwifery, and you know, what Britain and the East End of London was like all those years ago. It's so good. They're incredible, and the things that I don't really like to read books or watch series again, but I could literally go downstairs now and put on episode 1 of either The Crown or Call the Midwife and watch the whole thing through again because I just adored them. Number 13 is getting back in the gym, and I didn't really know whether to put this one in here because it is a highlight. It was a massive thing for me, getting back in the gym and building that confidence up there and working out and stuff, but it was more so that it was important to me because I didn't want the whole losing weight thing to just be about losing weight. It's about toning up and getting back in shape and being healthy. So although I am partial to the odd biscuit or chocolate bar, it was important for me to get back into the gym, and it kind of twizzled off at the end of last year. I've just made that word up, I think, but this year it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to be in there. I'm starting personal training again with Tommy next week, and it's something that I feel like the word gym and like personal training and fitness has such a negative connotation to so many people, and it does to myself. I don't want it to be a massive thing. I just want it to be something that I go and get done and do, and that I can see the changes in my body, because although I've been really lucky with losing weight and losing so much weight, I've not really got any like majorly like saggy areas or anything that's gross, but I do still want to get in the gym and improve it and work out and just, you know, get fitter basically. Number 14 is another beauty product favourite. 2 very messy palettes, and you can probably guess what this is going to be. They are my Makeup Geek eyeshadows, which will be something I think I will love and treasure forever. They are about £5 a pop. The actual palettes that you can put them in, these are Z palettes or Z palettes that you can get them from Beauty Bay as you can the eyeshadows. They are such good quality. So the cheaper ones are like £5, and then the ones that are more like the foiled eyeshadows or the duochrome ones are maybe 7 or 8, but so worth it. Amazing quality. I've got them on my eyelids today. They are honestly the things that I've worn almost every day this year when I've worn eyeshadow. Some of them you can see are very well loved. It's very mucky, but I love them. I absolutely love them. The shade range is amazing. The blendability, everything. If you've not already tried Makeup Geek, I would highly recommend them. So just 3 more to go, and number 15 is going back to Tenerife with Lottie. So we went on holiday in September, me and Lottie, who's my youngest sister, and to cut a long story short, basically, Tenerife was somewhere that I went every year with my mum and my sisters and my nan and granddad on holiday. My nan and granddad were the ones that owned the hotel in Blackpool, and they also had an apartment that they went to when it was out of season to go on holiday. So in the summertime, we would often go with them and had so many amazing memories. So many of my memories of my grandparents are from like date back to Tenerife and when we were there. And I stopped going when my nana passed away. My granddad went for years after that with my mum and my sisters. I went a couple of years, I think, where I stayed in the apartment just him, because I used to stay with him and my nana in their apartment, and my mum and my sisters would rent out a different one on the same kind of complex. It's more of like a actual people that lived there. It wasn't really like a holiday type of place, if that makes sense. So it was more residential. That's what I'm looking for. And then I stopped going. After that, I went with my friends. I went with Tommy, and then didn't go for a really long time. So I went back with Lottie last year, and it was incredible. We had the most incredible time. We met some incredible people out there. We met people that we knew when we were younger, that remembered my grandparents, that remembered us going as young girls, and had stories to tell us, and they were so respectful and treated us like we were one of their own, and we just had the best time. We want to go back next year, or this year should I say. Just one of those things. It was one of those holidays, and it was 10 days of my life that I feel were so important and very, very emotional. I'm sure you can all imagine, but it was just the best. And sharing it with Lottie as well was something else to treasure. So that's that one. Next, Gilmore Girls. Something on Netflix. I'd never ever seen Gilmore Girls ever, and was obsessed, absolutely obsessed. I've watched the Year in the Life one that they came back and did. Again, if you've not seen it, please go and give it a watch. It's just something that's so innocent. Nothing really negative happened in it. It wasn't like watching EastEnders where it's doom and gloom every single episode. I don't watch EastEnders. But it was just, again, so uplifting and just very innocent. You know, it was before the times of like mobile phones and the internet, and it was just lovely. And the relationship between the mother and daughter is what, between Lorelai and Rory, is very similar to the relationship that I hope to have with my kids. And one thing that actually nearly, honestly, made me burst into tears when she said this to me. Lottie said that it reminded her of our relationship, which was just so cute. And the last thing has been supporting Tommy this year, and him supporting me, and just getting closer. I honestly, this is going to be really, really soppy now, but when we got together, we were just friends. I hated him first, which I know is a strong word, but I really, really didn't like him. Then we became best friends, then we started going out, then we moved in together, and 10 years later, here we are. We've been together 10 years this month, and I absolutely adore him more so every single day, and I didn't think that that would ever be possible, and I'm hoping that he feels the same about me. We've been through so much this year. Obviously the loss of my granddad, the whole family shift thing, and just lots of different pieces. Obviously him opening up the gym, building up this house, just, you know, normal things that a couple go to but are obviously personal to you at the time. We have just got stronger and stronger together. We've made decisions about this year that will be massive and hopefully so beneficial and exciting, and I wouldn't want anyone else by my side. And I just wanted to mention that, because in like 10 years, when you know, if he annoys me because he's left his socks around or something, I come back and watch this video, I'll remember how much I did once adore him. No, I'm joking, I'll always adore him. So that is it. That's my 2017 in a nutshell. Thank you so much for watching, for sticking around. I know we're only really a small bunch over on this channel, but you're a bunch that I wouldn't change for the world. You're all so incredible. The comments that you leave, so many of you are like me. You've got the same sense of humour as me. I treasure you all. If you've got any, I want this year to do more topical videos on this channel, so talk more about relationships and sex and things like that, and, you know, buying a house, doing up a house, just normal topical videos that will help some of you. I'm thinking about doing one on facial hair. Is that something that you'd want to see? I don't know. If you have any suggestions that you want to see for videos this year, please let me know. I will write them all down and I'll try to incorporate them all somewhere, somehow into this channel. Weekly vlogs will be continuing. They're not going to be every week. I was going to try and do one this week, but it was time of the month and I just didn't feel like it. I hope you really enjoyed this. I don't want it to seem like I'm coming across too full of myself, that this has all been about me and my past year, but hopefully you've enjoyed kind of like looking back and reminiscing with me and reflecting. And let me know like a big thing that happened for you this year, a big positive that you want to share in the comments, and I will see you all this week with a next new video. Thank you so much for watching.